Saladin was one of the most famous and respected leaders of the medieval world. He is remembered not only as a powerful military commander, but also as a man of deep faith, discipline, mercy, and honor. Both Muslims and Christians have spoken with respect about him for centuries. His life story is closely connected with the Crusades, Jerusalem, and the struggle between Christian and Muslim powers in the Middle East during the 12th century. This is the history of Saladin, explained in simple English and clear paragraphs. Saladin was born in the year 1137 or 1138 in the city of Tikrit, which is in modern-day Iraq. His full name was Salah ad-Din Yusuf ibn Ayyub. The name Salah ad-Din means righteousness of the faith. He came from a Kurdish family. His father, Ayyub, and his uncle, Shirkuh, were soldiers who served Muslim rulers. Saladin did not grow up as a prince or king. His family was loyal, hardworking, and focused on service. From a young age, Saladin learned discipline, obedience, and respect for authority. When Saladin was still a child, his family moved from Tikrit to Mosul and later to Damascus. Damascus was an important center of learning, religion, and politics in the Muslim world. There, Saladin received a strong education. He studied Islam, the Quran, law, history, and Arabic literature. He was also trained in military skills, such as riding horses, using weapons, and understanding strategy. However, as a young man, Saladin was more interested in religion and study than in becoming a soldier. He did not dream of power or fame. At that time, the Muslim world was divided into many small states. These states often fought each other instead of standing united. This division made it easier for the Christian Crusaders from Europe to take control of important lands, including Jerusalem. The Crusader states included the Kingdom of Jerusalem, the County of Tripoli, and the Principality of Antioch. Muslims saw the loss of Jerusalem as a great tragedy because the city is holy to Islam. Saladin's uncle, Shirkuh, was a strong general serving Nur ad-Din, the ruler of Syria. Nur ad-Din wanted to unite Muslim lands and resist the Crusaders. Shirkuh led several military campaigns into Egypt, which was ruled by a weak Fatimid caliphate. Saladin joined his uncle on these campaigns, even though he did not enjoy warfare at first. During these expeditions, Saladin gained experience and learned how politics and power worked. In 1169, Shirkuh died suddenly after becoming the vizier, chief minister of Egypt. To everyone's surprise, the young Saladin was chosen to replace him. At first, many people doubted Saladin. He was young, quiet, and not seen as powerful. However, Saladin proved to be wise and patient. He slowly strengthened his position, gained the trust of the army, and removed his enemies carefully, without unnecessary violence. Saladin made a very important decision in Egypt. He ended the Fatimid Caliphate, which followed a different branch of Islam, and restored Sunni Islam under the authority of the Abbasid Caliph in Baghdad. This was a bold move that showed his loyalty to Sunni Islam and his desire to unite Muslims under one faith and leadership. This decision increased his legitimacy and respect across the Muslim world. When Nur ad-Din died in 1174, the Muslim world again faced division. Many leaders competed for power. Saladin moved carefully but firmly. He took control of Damascus and later brought Aleppo and other regions under his rule. Through a mix of diplomacy, patience, and military action, Saladin united Egypt, Syria, parts of Iraq, and Yemen. This unity was one of his greatest achievements. For the first time in many years, Muslims were united enough to seriously challenge the Crusader states. Saladin believed that unity was more important than personal ambition. He lived a simple life despite his power. He wore plain clothes, prayed regularly, fasted often, and gave much of his wealth to the poor. It is said that when he died, he left very little money behind, because he had given most of it away in charity. His faith guided his actions and decisions. Once Muslim lands were united, Saladin turned his full attention to the Crusaders. He knew that Jerusalem was the key. However, he did not rush blindly into war. He waited for the right moment. That moment came in 1187, when the Crusaders made serious mistakes. The Crusader king, Guy of Lusignan, marched his army into dry land without enough water, trying to challenge Saladin. Saladin took advantage of this mistake. He surrounded the Crusader army near the village of Hattin. In the Battle of Hattin, Saladin used heat, thirst, and careful tactics to defeat the Crusaders completely. The Crusader army was destroyed, and many leaders were captured. This battle changed the course of history. After Hattin, the Crusader states were weak and unable to defend themselves. After his great victory, Saladin moved quickly. One city after another fell into his hands. In October 1187, Saladin reached Jerusalem. The city had been under Crusader control for nearly 90 years. When the Crusaders had taken Jerusalem in 1099, they had killed many civilians, including women and children. People feared that Saladin would seek revenge. However, Saladin surprised everyone. After negotiations, Jerusalem surrendered peacefully. Saladin allowed Christian civilians to leave the city safely by paying a ransom. Many poor people who could not pay were freed anyway. Saladin protected churches and holy places. He did not allow mass killing or destruction. This act of mercy made him famous even among Christians. Many European writers later praised his kindness and honor. The fall of Jerusalem shocked Europe. In response, the Third Crusade was launched. Powerful kings joined this crusade, including Richard the Lionheart, King Philip II of France, and Emperor Frederick Barbarossa. Frederick died on the way, but Richard became Saladin's main enemy. Richard was brave, skilled in battle, and respected Saladin as an equal. Saladin and Richard fought several battles along the coast of the Holy Land. One of the most important battles was the Battle of Arsuf in 1191, where Richard defeated Saladin's army. Even though Saladin lost this battle, he did not lose the war. He avoided direct confrontations when necessary and focused on protecting Jerusalem. Both leaders showed respect for each other. They exchanged gifts, doctors, and messages. When Richard fell ill, Saladin sent him fruit and medicine. Despite many battles, Richard could not retake Jerusalem. His army was tired, and political problems forced him to return to Europe. In 1192, Saladin and Richard signed a peace treaty. Jerusalem remained under Muslim control, but Christian pilgrims were allowed to visit the city peacefully. This agreement showed Saladin's willingness to balance strength with compassion. After the Third Crusade, Saladin's health began to decline. Years of fighting, stress, and responsibility had weakened him. In 1193, Saladin fell ill with a fever in Damascus. He died on March 4, 1193. His death was mourned across the Muslim world. Even some Christians felt respect and sadness at his passing. When Saladin died, he left behind a powerful legacy. He had reunited the Muslim world, defeated the Crusaders at a critical moment, and restored Jerusalem to Muslim rule. Yet what made him truly special was not only his victories, but his character. He believed in justice, mercy, humility, and faith. He did not seek luxury or personal glory. Saladin's reputation continued to grow after his death. Muslim historians described him as the ideal Islamic ruler. Christian writers, especially during the Middle Ages, portrayed him as a noble and honorable enemy. In European stories and legends, Saladin often appears as a wise and generous king, which was very rare for a Muslim leader in Western writings of that time. Even today, Saladin is remembered as a symbol of unity and leadership. In the modern Middle East, many people see him as a hero who stood against foreign invasion and defended sacred lands. Streets, schools, and institutions are named after him. His story is taught as an example of how power should be used with responsibility and morality. Saladin's life teaches many lessons. He showed that unity is stronger than division. He proved that faith and discipline can guide leadership. He demonstrated that mercy can be more powerful than revenge. His respect for enemies showed that honor does not disappear in times of war. In simple words, Saladin was not just a warrior. He was a leader who understood people, faith, and history. He lived in a violent age but chose restraint when possible. He fought when necessary but forgave when he could. That is why his name has lasted for more than 800 years. Saladin remains one of the greatest leaders in history, not only for Muslims, but for the whole world. His story reminds us that true greatness comes not only from winning battles, but from winning hearts.